Hi, I'm Charlotte from Freezer Meals 101.
And I'm Christy. Welcome to today's freezer meal session. We are making fall freezer meals.
Yay!
It's coming. It's here. It's time.
I love fall. It is my favorite season. I know some of you are sad to see summer go.
Yeah, we had probably one of the hottest summers we've had in a while, and I finally got used to it. Like, I'm sitting in my house baking because we don't really have AC, because normally we don't really need it.
Nope.
But I finally got used to it, and now it's fall, and it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, fall is so beautiful. It's like
Yeah.
my favorite. Like,
No, that's okay.
So look, my fall shirt.
You are so super fall-y today. That's beautiful. So the nice part about fall is the food. We have all the things that are coming in off the garden, all those late vegetables, the root vegetables, the yams, the sweet potatoes, the squashes, the carrots.
Zucchini. And they look beautiful too. Like they're all those nice fall colors, right? Like the deep oranges and the greens and it's
Absolutely. Yes.
So good.
Yeah, we enjoy our root vegetables and they translate really well to the deep freeze.
Yes, they do.
Potatoes on their own don't. If you
No.
cook them first, they're good to go. We get a million questions about that in our Facebook group and on the YouTube channel. And you want to cook them first, or you want to buy something that's already cooked, like tater tots or hash browns or fries. They freeze great, but raw potatoes on their own, no.
But sweet potatoes freeze beautifully.
Isn't that funny?
And we use sweet potatoes in a lot of our freezer meals.
Yeah, we do. And they're healthy and they're great for you. So this one is our fall freezer meals. Let's tell them what we have today.
We are making butternut squash soup, which is my favorite soup, and has those nice fall colors. We are making African Thai stew, which is
so good.
Odd flavors, but good.
When we first started making this one, I had to be convinced because it's vegetarian, it has chickpeas in it, it has yams, like it has the sweet potato in it, orange sweet potato or yams, white sweet potato or sweet potatoes, and we kind of use them interchangeably. I don't know if you do where you're from, but we use the orange ones, even though we're calling them sweet potatoes, just so you know. And it has Thai flavor and African flavors, but it's delicious.
It's so good.
I was like, the first time I tried it, I'm like, okay, Charla, awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so you're in for a treat on this one. Click for the recipe on that one for sure. What else?
Roasted carrot soup, which is your favorite soup.
It is my favorite soup. We are in a supper club. I don't know if you know about this. If you look at our hamburger patty, we'll put a video of it right there. We talk a lot about our supper club. We'll give you the whole synopsis
all the details
of what happens in our supper club. But I made it one time, and it was just, I was in love ever since. And it's such a nice one. You roast your carrots first, and they're nice and caramelized, and it's just the flavors. It's carrot.
It's beautiful.
But it's so good. It's so good. And it's dairy-free. So there's that for those of you that need that.
We're doing apple maple chicken because apples fall, right?
Apples are ready.
People are trying to give away their apples off their trees.
Our neighbor that lives in between us, if you don't know, Charlotte and I are neighbors and we live 2 doors down from each other. So we have a neighbor in between. Shout out to Rob and Sharon. They have like 12 apple trees that when they moved here, they're like, we don't do apples. Have them. So we just go out and pick our apples, pick their apples, and it's great. So we don't even have to maintain them. I've gone and trimmed their trees for them. Like, I've maintained them a little bit.
She's a good neighbor.
I'm a good neighbor. You're a terrible neighbor. No, you're not.
I let you use my kitchen.
I'm in your kitchen. I eat your food. I'm one of
my
your...
hot tub.
It's true. So we do have the apples. The apple maple chicken is delightful. The apple in it is quite subtle, but it's nice fall flavors, and
Maple is fall.
Maple's kind of winter.
Yeah, well, that's true.
But now it's fall.
Now it's,
Maple's Canadian.
Maple's all year round. If you're Canadian, which we are. And then we're doing beef curry, and that has some nice fall colors and flavors, and it's a really good hearty one.
And it's a warmer upper, right? Because it's a curry. It's got some heat.
Yep.
It is nice to have in the slow cooker.
And the Cajun sausage root vegetable sheet pan.
Okay, sheet pans are all the rage right now, if you don't know. And this is beautiful. It's got the sweet potatoes, it's got some butternut squash, and we just use garlic sausage or Ukrainian sausage.
And zucchini.
And it's just lovely.
It's so
a little bit
good.
of Cajun seasoning. It's so simple. And then you just do it all at once in your oven.
Dirty less dishes.
Yes, and I put foil on my pan because I don't love dishes. And it's really great. So you are gonna love it. You're gonna love all of these, I promise.
Yeah, let's get started. So for the African Thai stew, we're doing 1 diced onion, a large sweet potato cubed. Again, that's the orange sweet potato or yam. Normally you would do 2 celery stalks that are diced, but I'm allergic to celery, so we don't add celery into really any of our freezer meals. Sometimes Christy adds them into hers, but we're not doing that today. We're doing half of a green pepper that's been diced, some garlic, 3 cups of vegetable broth. Now you can add that now, or you can add it on the day you cook it if you want your bag to take up less space in your freezer and be thinner. I do that quite often with soups and stews. Then a can of diced tomatoes, a can of chickpeas drained, cumin, curry powder, ginger, coriander, chili powder, pepper, and lime juice. So it's got lots of different flavors in there, but they all meld together nicely. On the day that you cook this, you're going to thaw your bag and then cook it on the stove top, or you could do it in the crock pot. And then towards the end of cooking, you're gonna add in some peanut butter and dried cranberries. I told you this was a bit of a weird one, and I wasn't lying, but it's also really good.
The roasted carrot soup recipe starts with 2 pounds of carrots that we've done a bit of prep for. We're going to peel them and chop them into about 1/2-inch chunks and sprinkle them with salt and olive oil and put them on a cookie sheet and roast them in the oven. Do it for about 400 degrees for, it depends on your carrots, but it could be anywhere from 20 minutes to 40 minutes. And you do want to get a nice crisp edge on them, like a mother's golden brown, we call it around here, where it's not really burnt, it's not really blackened, but it's starting to get that deep caramelization color, because that's really going to bring out the flavor. So you start out with your cooked carrots, you add chopped onion, minced garlic, coriander, cumin, 4 cups of vegetable broth, some extra water, which you can add on the day of cooking, and put it all in your bag. And you're gonna lay it flat and freeze it. When you go to make the soup, you're gonna take it out and thaw it, and you can do it in your slow cooker, or you can do it on your cooktop, on your stovetop. The recipe itself says to add the lemon juice while you're cooking it, but we've added it in here ahead of time, and it just gives it a little bit of zip. When you're finished, you can put a blob of butter in there, but it's not necessary if you want to keep it vegan. And you're going to use a immersion blender, like a wand blender, and make it as smooth as possible, and it will be so creamy even though there isn't a drop of dairy in there, and it is so flavorful. You're going to love it.
We recently had a block party that Christy organized.
Oh, yes, we did.
She's great at organizing. And it was so nice to have everybody come out, and like nice to meet the neighbors. Some of them are new, we hadn't met them yet. It was really nice, like family thing. Christy organized like a bike parade and a face painter. It was lovely.
It was
You did
lovely.
a great job.
Well, thank you. Community is really important to me. It always has been, and so I'm happy to organize stuff like that because it's important to me.
But I was at the potluck thing that we did. We had the barbecue baked beans that we did in our last, when we did over 100 freezer meals. And my husband loved it. I haven't made mine yet, so.
And I've made mine twice, and both times they were crowd pleasers. They are very good, And it's got everything. It's got the baked beans, it's got some ground beef, it's got some bacon and some onions and a little bit of green pepper. And it was a crowd pleaser.
Maybe we should do that in our winter freezer meals.
Would definitely be a good winter food.
One. Anyway, I don't know why I thought about that. I don't know why we're talking about beans in a video that has no beans in it. But anyway, but having freezer meals done and ready makes life so much easier. Then you can go to a potluck and you don't have to make anything that day because you just pull it out of your freezer. Or
right. And because I was organizing that, I had so much to do. I had my kids working and we were hauling tables out to the yard and getting tablecloths set up and setting up
the garbage cans.
The garbage and the door prizes and everything. There was so much setup. I did not have to worry about my meal because it was in my kitchen in the crock pot. And then at the time, when the time came, I could just set it out there and it holds the heat nicely and everything because it's in that ceramic pot. It was great. It was super easy.
So if you don't want to have to worry about what to make for dinner or what to bring to your neighborhood potluck, then we invite you to join the Freezer Meals 101 Club. We're going to put the link down below. In the club, you can choose whatever recipes you want from our tried and true freezer meal favorites, and you can generate your own meal plans and custom shopping lists. You can change the amount of servings. It's super user-friendly.
And
People
it gives
love
you a little check mark. It'll also tell you your prep list.
Yes.
How many cups of diced onions do you need? How many onions do you need to slice? It will tell you all of that ahead of time.
It takes all the mental stuff off.
It really does. When Charlotte and I do our big ones, we have to plan it from scratch. We have done that work for you. You don't have to plan it from scratch. You can go check, 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 and print it and just get chopping and get assembling and fill your freezer.
Get it stacked so you can relax.
Totally.
Okay, let's get back to some fall freezer meals.
Right on. The Cajun sausage and vegetable sheet pan dinner. Start out with a garlic sausage ring cut into rounds. Add a coarsely chopped zucchini, half a sweet potato peeled and coarsely chopped, a quarter of a butternut squash coarsely cubed, and you want to peel it and seed it. Add a little bit of olive oil, some Cajun seasoning, and salt, and that's it. We're going to cook this in the oven at 400 degrees for about 35 minutes, and it is so easy and so delicious. You will love it. I'm going to say that for all of them. You will love it.
The curried butternut squash soup, again, it's my favorite soup. Perfect flavors for fall. You've got your sweet potato, then some butternut squash. Those are both cubed and cut into about 1-inch chunks. Some olive oil, onion, garlic, ginger. We like to use the squeeze tube ginger. I just find it's got that nice fresh flavor, but without the work of peeling and grating your own ginger. Curry paste. Now you can choose to do a mild one or spicy depending on your preference. Cumin, pepper, salt, and then you can do chicken broth or vegetable broth. Again, you can add that now or you can add it on the day of cooking. You'll want to make a note on the bag to add 2 cups of water on the day that you cook this. And if you haven't added your broth now, you'll add a note on the bag for that as well. On the day you cook this, you just bring it to a simmer until things get nice and soft. And then you're gonna run an immersion blender through it so that it is smooth. And this one, again, it's similar to the carrot soup in that it tastes like it's got cream in there, but it doesn't have any dairy. So it's just really a very, very delicious soup full of fall flavors.
The apple maple chicken dump recipe is very simple to put together. You want to start out with 3 to 5 chicken breasts. We have 4 here today. Or you can also easily do this with 8 to 10 boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You want to add garlic, a whole can of apple juice concentrate, 3/4 of a cup of dry white wine. You can use alcohol-free if that's your jam. a little bit of maple syrup, some soy sauce, and a little bit of pepper. You want to put this in, and here's something that's really important. You want to make sure you squeeze out all of the air when you are you're sealing up your freezer meals, because that is where you get your freezer burn from. So remove as much air as possible and then lay it flat to freeze. When you are going to cook this, you want to let it thaw. You can just put it in a casserole dish. You can bake it in your oven at 350 for about an hour, and you want to uncover it for the last 10 minutes and let that sauce thicken up and let your chicken brown up a bit. Or you can do it in your crock pot and put it on low for 4 to 5 hours.
One thing I want to mention about the apple maple chicken is we had a bit of trouble this time finding frozen apple juice. So if you have trouble finding frozen apple juice and you can't find it at all at a grocery store near you, then you could substitute actual apple juice for the white wine and just use a little bit of extra. Then you should have the right amount of liquid in there, but still get a little bit of that apple flavor.
Good too. The beef curry freezer meal is super simple. You start out with your beef stir fry strips, and you can get that at the grocery store pre-cut, or you can buy a cheaper cut of steak and do it on your own, because this is going to be cooked in the slow cooker. It's going to have a lot of time for that to tenderize. You're going to add chopped onion, red and yellow bell peppers, diced tomatoes from a can, curry paste, a little bit of sugar, and some heavy cream. You're going to mix them all together in your bag. You're going to squeeze all that air out and seal it up. And then on the day of cooking, you're going to let it thaw, add it to your slow cooker, and you can do it for 4 to 6 hours on low. You can serve it a few different ways, on rice or wrapped up in a flour tortilla, or just have it on its own, and you can garnish it with fresh cilantro if desired. And there you have it. We have our fall freezer meals prepped. That was pretty easy.
Yes, and they're so beautiful.
Oh, they're delicious.
The colors
all the
are
colors.
Gorgeous, and they're healthy. These are good meals.
They really are. And I do give Charlotte a hard time about this sometimes, but every time there's one that's really pretty with all the colors, she'll say, look, it looks like it's a baby. Look how pretty it is. Look at all the colors. It's so healthy. You know when there's more color, it's really healthy. Yes, it is, Charlotte. These are all beautiful. They are all healthy. There's a lot of beta carotene happening this week, and that is A-okay. We're going to have good eyesight going into winter.
It's awesome. So I'm going to put a video right there to a sheet pan freezer meal session that we did that gives you the full everything. The shopping list, the labels, the instructions, the recipes, the instructions, the prep list. You just print it out and it's free. Print that out and you can make those sheet pan meals along with us. And that includes the Cajun sausage one that we did today.
It is on there.
So you can do that and all the other sheet pan meals and get yourself set up for fall. Or you can find these recipes down below.
Make sure you click like and subscribe. Come and join us on Facebook. We have the nicest Facebook group in the entirety of Facebook, I'm sure. These are wonderful people that are always helpful and really great ideas and a wealth of freezer meal knowledge. We might be somebody this week called us the queens of all things freezer. Thanks, Juliana. Shout out to you. But maybe we are, maybe we aren't, but there is a lot of knowledge in the Facebook group. Yep. It is a wonderful place to be. And don't forget about our club. Join our club and do this for yourself. Go click, click, click and make your meals. It's wonderful.
Happy cooking and happy fall.